Hi, today I show you how to use picker views in Android and in iOS. So this is what we are talking about. We have a text field and we want to select some items from a picker and not typing them into to the text field itself. So this is how it looks like in the iOS, and here is the Android version, which is pretty much the same. So you can select here the items from the list and then it will appear in a kind of text field. So let's start with the coding itself with the iOS version. So let's go back to the editor and let's see how you need to create such a picker. So I have created here a sample application which is a pretty simple one. So we just have some text fields put in place. So you are selecting basically this text fields here, as you can see, and you put it on the screen. Then you need to make the links, the constraints to the other items, and then you can start to code. So what we were doing here, or what I was doing here, so this text field will be using a picker view, which we add to the text field via the code itself. So we are not creating it here in the storyboard. You can create a picker in the storyboard as well. Just I show you where it is. Just picker. So picker view. So basically you could be able to place it here, but we don't need it actually because we want to create programmatically. So how you can do that? At first you need something which you want to fill in. So what we add here is that we create a set of items or list of items. So here we create a dim. And this will contain 4 items here: apple, peach, pear, and banana. Okay, so how you can do this? That you link the text field to an outlet. So here we created already, so we don't create it twice. But this text field will use a picker which we will attach to the text field. So we need to define the picker itself, which we do here programmatically. So this fruit picker view will be the picker view itself, which will contain the elements. So once you created this empty picker view, you need to link it to the text field. So what you can do is that in the view did load function, you take this input field text field and you set the input view to the fruit picker view UI picker view element. But this itself will not do anything because you need to load the data into the picker view, otherwise it will be an empty picker view. So you need to define what you want to select from this picker view. So how you can do this, that you basically need to define, or you need to add some delegates to the view controller, which need to be 2 things. One is the UI picker view delegate and the UI picker view data source. So the delegate itself will help you to just call the picker view itself, and the data source will contain the items what you load in, and will make the selections and others. So once you set up these delegates or the picker view data source, and then you need to define, of course, the functions themselves. So you need to make sure that these functions are added to your view controller. And this one, these basically these 4 items here, which is the okay, so the number of components. The number of components will be the number of columns you want to show in the picker view. So these columns will give you the items what you can select. In our case, we are only define one selectable item, so we will have only one columns. So what we are doing here is that we can return simply the value itself, that it's 1. However, if you might have more picker views on the same view controller, then you can basically use these delegate function or data source function for all the picker views, but you need to know into which picker view you want to return the value. So here we have only one, the fruit picker view. So in this case we are returning to this only one, because that will have one column. If you might have a second one, of course you can put another case here, and you can you can add the return value with 2 or 3 or whatever columns you want to have. So then the picker view functions, here the picker view number of rows in components. So this will give you the number of components what you want to use in the picker view. In our case this will be 4, but of course we can do it dynamically by selecting or getting back the number of items from the list what we created before. So in our list we used this my fruits list at the first time. Later on I will show another thing here, but we are now just simply define the list as it is to show the basic functionality of the picker view. So here we return the number of items in the my fruits list. Then the next one is the picker view title for row function. So this gives you back the text or the element from the picker view, which is shown on the picker view itself. There is another function which is the picker view did select row. So with this one you can identify the row itself, and with this you can basically manipulate what you are giving back or what you are taking from the picker view. So if you don't need the text itself, for example, but you just want to show the text and you have a defined code or defined ID behind this element, then you can take this element from the did select row function. But here we are just right now we are just using this title for row because we are just showing the text itself in the text field. Okay, so let's see how it works in the practice with this simple solution, and then we will talk about the Android version. Okay, so the basic functionality of the picker view is that when it loads, it doesn't show anything. So you can see that the text field here where we attach the picker view doesn't show anything. It's an empty text field. So when we click into it, then the list appears and you can select something from this. Okay, let's select one. But as you can see, you can't go back anymore to an empty field. It will be always filled. Okay, there is another thing which we will talk about, but right now this is not that important here. But theoretically you can see that there is a cursor blinking here in the text field. So normally when you are using the application on a phone, you can't enter anything because you don't have a keyboard. But if you have an external keyboard, your phone or your tablet is attached to an external keyboard, then you can type in text, which is not nice because you don't want to have text behind. You just want to have something from the selection from here. So this is what it makes a bit complicated to use this picker view in this way, because you might have this situation that you have an external keyboard. Okay, there is another thing which we will talk about later, is that how you can get rid of this picker view from the bottom. So normally, if you have other text views or other elements on your screen, when you click on those, then the picker view itself disappears. When you are running it on a phone, then the keyboard would pop up actually, but because we are in a test condition on the computer, the keyboard does not appear. But of course, we can type in something if you want. If you go back again, then again it comes up. Okay, let's see a similar thing in the Android version. So here I prepared the first fragment on a similar way. So now you can see some failures here. Of course, the ID and this kind of things are not the nicest right now, but for the sake of the application or the sample, let's see how it works. So I defined a similar screen here. So we have the picker view or the view itself. The Android is a bit different. So here, if you want to use an input field like this, then your case is a bit easier, because you can directly define it as a picker view, or here in the Android it's called spinner. So if you define a spinner, you cannot enter manually anything here. You just can select from the list what you defined. So the life is a bit easier, but at the same time it's not so easy as well. So how you can get this input field? You have to go to the containers, and from the containers you can select the spinner, you pull it on the screen, and then you make the constraints on the same way as in the iOS version. So I named this field similarly like input field, and then you don't need to do anything here anymore. You can go to the fragment itself, where we are defining the thing. Okay, so actually the definition is pretty much the same as for the iOS version, but here you need to use an adapter to load the data into the field. So how you can do this? That you need to have a list of items for the adapter, and then you attach this adapter to your input field. So earlier in my tutorials I showed you that how the items or how the elements of the screen are linked to the variables in a code. So here you can see that when the view is created, then the fragment binding is linking or binding the elements to the code, and via this binding link you can get the different fields from the screen. But to handle this adapter, which will basically generate the list for you, you need to create an additional class here, which I put into the list handler class, and this list handler will define an array list. So basically, this array list you can use in the array adapter, but to get back values from the spinner, you need to have more columns. So not if you just want to use the text, of course you can list also text fields here, or text only in the array, but it's easier to define this kind of handler, and then you can define different elements for the spinner itself. So this in this one I created a few functions which will load the data into the list. So at first, of course, you need to clean out everything when you want to define the elements. Then you need to make sure that you are adding the data into your list, and then into the spinner list you need to add the text itself, and with this you will have basically two columns or two variables. The data will handle the selection, and the spinner list will only handle the text which you will use in the spinner itself, or the picker itself. So then you need to define some functions as well. So you need to have a function which will give you back the identification number of the element itself, what you are taking from the list or from the row, and you have the item itself, which is basically giving you the item from the list, and then you get another one which you get the item from the row. These two are different, because if you want to have, for example, an ascending list, for example, then your IDs might not be the same row or same order as the rows themselves. So you have a mixed ID list inside. So let's go back to the fragment code. So here you can see that when the form itself or the view itself is created, then we can load the data into the picker view. So here we are calling the fruit picker. The fruit picker is basically the list handler, what we defined at the beginning of the class. So we clean it out, and then we add a first row. So here I already made an additional row, which is holding or having the a kind of preload of the content of the list. If you don't have this here, then the list automatically showing the first element. So if we take it out from here, you will see that how it will work. So you can see that when the application is loading, the first item is immediately the apple. And you might have the case that you don't want to have anything defined here. So you want this field basically empty, or you can define here a text that it shows that it's optional or something. So that's why we load here an item, which, as I said, it can be empty if we don't want to put anything here, but it's better if you have some text, because it's showing that you want to have here something, or you can put in here that select the fruit, but it's optional, for example. Okay, so this is why we add this first line, and this is actually why we were creating this list handler, because as you can see, if I have in the list data from 0 to something, if I'm defining here a negative number, I can immediately tell that nothing is selected in the list. So typically you are using such a solution if you want to have an optional field. So then we are filling up the data into the list handler. So we check that from the list, because we define this my fruits list. We are taking these the rows of these, or the items of this list, and we are loading it into the picker. So here we put in the identification number, or ID, which will be the position within the list. So starting from 0, and we are going until the last item. So here in our case it will be 4, but because we start with 0, we need to have one lower number until we fill the data into the list itself, or list handler itself. So then we can link the adapter, which will create the spinner itself into the input field. So we are binding the input field adapter with the array adapter, and here you can see that we need to define the activity, or the context where we are using this. Then we say that it's a simple spinner, so we are not defining the items by ourselves. So this is a built-in spinner type in the Android, which is, in our case, it's a simple text list. And then we take the spinner list, which is a text array or string array, and we put it as the last item of the array adapter function. Then what we are doing here as well, that we want to set up here the default value. So if the fruit value is not -1, which we defined at the beginning that it should be -1 when we are starting. If it is not -1, then this selection, and you can see here that we are already manipulating the spinner itself. So we are selecting the actual previously selected value into this field. Otherwise, we are going to the first selection. So we are going basically to the first item, which is in our case will be the select fruit text, let's say. So this is what is in Android, and here, as I mentioned, our life is a bit easier because we just need to define this kind of list handler function or list handler class, and then we need to use the adapter, and the Android is automatically generating for us the selector or the spinner itself. So if we go back to the application, okay, so it's here. You can see that the first item, the default item, is shown, and then we can select the different values. And when we selected this, the list automatically disappears. So you don't need to take care of hiding the spinner itself. And as you can see, this is very simple here, and very nicely doing its job. In iOS, as you could see, it's a bit more complex to handle such a spinner view or picker view, but we can basically reach the similar way of working like in here. So just back, you can select this optional value. So if you go back, then you can handle it as this field was not selected or was not set up with a value. Okay, so that's about the Android. And let's go back now to the iOS version. Okay, so again, just to catch up again where we were. So when we started the application and we go to the text field, you can see that you have here the picker view, and once you select something, it's also writing the value into the text field. And this is not the best way. Sometimes you don't have another field where you can click in, and then the picker view disappears. But the other thing was that we wanted to get rid of this typing effect. So how we can do this? So let's go at first that oops. So let's go back at first and let's see how we can get rid of how we can get rid of the picker view itself. Okay, so let's take this prepared section in again, and what we need to do is that like the keyboard and the speaker views can have a toolbar attached to them. So what you can do with the toolbar is that you can put in different buttons, for example. So in our case, we just want to add a very simple button where we say that okay, we selected something from the picker and we want to get rid of the picker view itself. So we will attach a toolbar, and after the toolbar is attached, we also add the button into the toolbar. So you need to define some rows. So you need to define a toolbar, and you need to put it into a variable. Then you need to define the bar style. So we selected the default style. Then it's a translucent toolbar. We define the color of the elements, and then we say that the toolbar should size to fit on the screen, so it will be the full size. Then we define a button. The button will be a UI bar button item with a title of done. Style will be a simple plain style. Target is self, so when we click on the button, it will be handled within the view controller. And then we select or we give an action to it, which will be the picker down click function, which we need to define in the view controller. So then we add to the toolbar the button. So here you can see toolbar set items done button. We only have one button, so we add this. We don't want to have an animation, so it's there, and we make sure that the toolbar is usable, so the user can interact with the toolbar. So we need to set the is user interaction enabled to true. And then we need to add the input accessory view into the input field. So as you can see that we have the input view, the picker itself, and the input accessory view is a toolbar. Okay, so both things are added. And then let's go down to the picker down click. So here we don't need to do too much things. We just need to tell to the application that we finished the editing of this field. Okay, so once this is done, then you will have the chance to remove the picker view from your screen when you finish the editing of the of the element or of the text field. So let's wait until the application starts. Okay, so we have the picker view, we click on it, and then we have the list of items, as you can see. And here we have the done button, what we defined into the toolbar, and when we click on it, then we have the picker view disappearing. So that's how we can do it from the program without having another a text field or any other interactive field in the view which makes the picker view to disappear. So we can do it, as you can see, with a button here. Okay, let's go to the next step. So as you could see, we only had the list of items which we defined in this list for the my fruits, but this looks a bit ugly because and you can't have an optional item with this because you didn't define here. But we can use a list handler just similar to what I have shown in the Android version. So basically, if you would go back to the Android, you can see that the same things are here. So we clean out the list itself, then we add the items. We can select one row from the ID what we get, which is not exactly the row number. So the item number might be different from the row number. So that's why we are using this function. The get item by ID gives you back the list itself, and then you can have the row number from the item. So if we go back again, I already defined here some things which we need to make here. So if we want to use the list handler, then we have this code here. So we add the list handler to the application, and we fill up the data from this list here what we created. So from this my fruits, we fill up the picker list itself, and then we also make sure that the first item will be the select fruit text with the ID of -1. So we set up the same way as in the Android. And then what we also need to make sure is that we change some lines here to use actually the fruit picker list itself, or from the list handler. So all these we need to change. And yeah, I think we changed everything. Yes. So when we are running the application, then you can see that the default text appears here. So we put in the select fruit, and we could put in here that it's optional. And when we click on it, it will also appear inside the picker view. So if you selected something, you can finish it like this. But if you made a mistake and you say that, okay, that was optional, so I want to have it optional, or I want to take out anything from here, I go back to this item where the ID of the item will be -1 as we define. So once you get back this -1 value, then you can say that this was an optional value, so you didn't want to to have anything. One thing I did not show again. So when we come here, we still can type in. So this is not nice. So how we can get rid of this typing thing, that we don't want to type anything here? We need to add something to the code. So we need to handle the text field, that not just adding the picker view to it, but we need to get some delegation from this view, which is defined in the framework itself. So you need to attach the delegate function to the actual view controller. So you need to take over the handling of the text field itself by yourself. And how you do it, that you have to tell to the input field, or this text field what we define, that the delegation is to the view controller itself. So the self delegation will be here. And then when you do this, then you need to make sure that these delegate functions are also added to your code. So how you can do this, you have these 4 functions here, what you can see. Text field should change characters in. So this is when you start to type in something into the field, and you want to make sure that this is a valid input, and the replaced text, or the replaced item itself is a valid input. So in our case, because we are selecting it from selecting the content of this text field from a picker view, we simply can tell to the text field itself that it should get rid of this replacement. So it does not allow to type in anything. And how you can do is that you return a false. So this function will be called when you start to type in something from a keyboard, and if you or even when you try to copy paste something into the field, that is also handled by this function. And then because it returns a false, it will not allow to do this change to the text field. So it will simply get rid of it. Then there is some other things. So when you start to edit this thing, it should also check for the value itself, and it can go to the right picker view item. Okay, for the rest, should change text in. This is also something what you can return a true, and then this will do its job. So let's check how it works. Okay, so you have here the picker view, and now I try to type in something, doesn't work. So you can't type in anything here. You can just select from here. Okay, that's all for today. So you could learn from this small tutorials that how you can define picker view or spinner in the iOS and in the Android. If you like this tutorial, please don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time with other tutorials as well.